Welcome back to Leeds Lately. Before we get into this one, if you could just hit that button down below. But today's video is going to be a little bit of a strange one, because I'm wondering if Leeds are going to actually sign anyone, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Are Leeds going to sign anyone this January window? And when we look at the squad, we have enough goalkeepers, I would say. Obviously, some of them, Darlow in particular, have been injured of late with that dislocated thumb and stuff. You've got fullbacks is one of the main concerns and areas which we are worried about. And then there's obviously Ben Godfrey, who Leeds have taken a shine to, but it seems like he maybe doesn't want to come to Leeds after there's been some interest from clubs like AC Milan as well, which obviously, being not a Leeds fan, you think you'd take that every day of the week, wouldn't you, over coming to Leeds in the Championship, going to AC Milan. But Ben Godfrey is someone who would play anywhere across the back line. I truly believe he could play right back, centre back, left back, anywhere, and he'd do a good job for you. Farke likes him obviously because he had him at Norwich. He was his sort of protege there. He was his sort of ideal player that he wanted to have in his defence, and I just don't think that one's going to happen. Everything else has gone a little bit dry. You've had Ben Johnson from West Ham, who seems to have gone now off the radar as well. It doesn't seem like we're going to sign an attacking midfielder, despite earlier links to people like David Brooks. I've made videos on all these players. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in the coming days. Obviously, I'm recording this just after the game against Plymouth at the weekend, so I'm recording this on the Saturday. You're seeing this on the Monday. And hopefully something might have happened by now, the time you're watching this. But this video will still be relevant because it's talking about the state of the squad in general. And in fact, actually, it's probably best for me to get the actual the squad up as well whilst we're doing this, just so that I don't forget anyone. Just so that I don't forget anyone that sometimes you do forget, don't you? So let's have a look. So we talked about goalkeepers and we've talked about fullbacks. We have fullbacks, right? And we have fullbacks who can do a decent job in the Championship. But the issue is that they're not always fit. So Junior Firpo and Sam Byram, between them this season, have been really, really good at left back. Junior Firpo more recently, but Sam Byram the rest of the season, they've been really, really good at left back. But their injury record is what is really, really concerning, isn't it? Obviously, Junior Firpo's only 27, but Sam Byram's 30, so they're both well within their sort of prime range. But you kind of need somebody to come in here and solidify that and just give you somebody who's always going to be available. And I did a video, actually, one of my most recent videos was about Harrison Burrows, the Peterborough left back who we played against in the last round of the FA Cup. And I thought he'd be a really, really good signing for Leeds because he's regularly fit, he's contributing goals and assists, he's playing really well, and I thought he would be someone who could come in there and actually do a really, really good job. But obviously they seem to not really be going for that at the moment. So that's a position of an extreme concern for us. And I know this, everybody knows this, but I said there's options in League One. There's options where you look at somebody like Leif Davis and what he's done in his step up to the Championship. Obviously not great timing because he has just scored another own goal the other day against Leicester. But really, you're wanting somebody to come in and just be available, be ready to play. Sam Byram and Junior Firpo have been fantastic, but what happens if both of them get injured? We won't spend too long on that because we always do. Right back, I think we're okay. Jamie Shackleton can come in here and do an okay job. You've got Archie Gray who can play there. You did have Luke Ayling, but now we've sold him. You've got Sam Byram who can obviously come in there and play right back. Centre-backs, I think we're fine at the moment. I mean, really, I think we're fine. With Pascal Strout, Joe Rodon, Charlie Cresswell and Liam Cooper. With Charlie Cresswell being back in the picture, I think we're fine. And we've got 4 centre-backs there, 2 decent pairings for the Championship. When you look into midfield, we talked about this the other day, you've got Ethan Ampadu, Gruev, Gray, Kamara, who can all play in those holding midfield roles and do a really good job in there. So I think we're fine in that department, especially because we've brought a lot of them in this season. And in the attacking positions, you've got to say, we have an embarrassment of riches, really, don't we? Wilfred Gnonto, Dan James, Jaden Anthony, Crescencio Somerville, Poveda, Rutter, Piru, Gelhardt, Bamford, Joseph, and obviously Perkins being not with us at the moment. We've got a lot of good players in our attacking areas. We've got a lot of good players in our attacking areas. And now that we've switched from Jorginho playing in the number 9 role to playing in more of a number 10 role with Bamford ahead of him, I don't really think we need to buy a number 10. All we're asking for then, Leeds United, as a club, all we're asking for is bring in a fullback. Bring in somebody who can play left back and right back. Fine, don't care. Bring in somebody who can only play left back. Fine, don't care. Bring in somebody who is going to be fit and he's going to be available all the time. Look at Harrison Burrows. I think I said he was £3 million, something like that, €3 million, so even less in pounds. He'd do a really good job for you in the Championship. He's young, he's ready to go. He'd be learning from Sam Byram. I think he would be really good to go in there. Or maybe because you've got Byram and Firpo and they'd probably be your 2 first choices before this other player, maybe you get somebody who's a right back who can play left back. Because if you look out there and you look at Daiki Hashioka, who's from Union Saint-Gilloise in the Belgian division, who I've made a video on as well, the Japanese international. He can play right back. We certainly go over and play left back if he needed to, because we don't really have an out-and-out right back. We've actually got 2 central midfielders who play right back at the moment. So maybe the more pressing concern is a right back who can play left back. And so somebody like Daiki Hashioka, who I've made a video on, if you want to go and check that out on the channel, I've made a video on that and talking about the total players that we could bring in. So for me, actually talking through this as almost like a therapy session has made me come to the conclusion that we need a right back who is a right back but can play left back. That's what I want. I know it's square pegs and round holes. I know it is. But with the position that we're in at the moment, I don't feel that we have the luxury to buy a left back who's not going to play and then not buy a right back when we haven't actually got somebody who's an out-and-out right back to play in that position. So for me, I think we need to go out and buy a right back. Somebody like Daiki Hashioka would be a really, really good signing for me to go in at left back, play it right back mainly, but when he needed to, when there was an injury to both our fullbacks, then you can go across there. I mean, Stuart Dallas is still injured, obviously, and there's no way that we can really rely on him to come in and play left back. But obviously he would be an option if he was fit. So it's not fair to put anything on him in this situation for him to come in and play left back. But literally our 2 right backs are centre midfielders at the moment because we've lost Ayling as well. And to me, when we lost Ayling, that was a sign, although we're going to go and get somebody else, because obviously Ayling was a decent enough backup to play at right back if we needed him. But yeah, it is starting to worry me a little bit that we haven't signed anyone. And now I'm willing to right, so that's just gone out the window. I'm willing to accept or would be reasonably happy with just one signing if it was a right back who can play left back as well. We'll get a proper left back when we get promoted, if we get promoted. But for me, that's what I wanted to talk about today. I just wanted to kind of talk through this whole situation really and see who we needed to go for. And obviously, like I say, on the channel, I've made videos on number 10s. I've made videos on Manuel Fuster. I've made videos on Connor Roberts, who could have potentially come in at right back. Connor Roberts would be a great shout for us to come in at right back. Ben Johnson as well. Obviously, they seem to have gone off the boil a little bit, those ones. I talked about Harrison Burrows. I talked about Sarawi, the winger. Talked about Chris Mepham and David Brooks and Hashioka and Manu Fuster. There's a lot of players that we've either been linked with. Oh yeah, Jed Spence. I forgot we sent Jed Spence back. That's why we don't have any more right backs. So we definitely need to bring a right back in. I just only noticed that by going through my videos on my channel. So really, yeah, we need to bring in a right back who can play left back. That's my summary of everything so far. I'm frustrated because I've made videos on free agents that would do well for Leeds. I've made videos on loan signings. I've made videos on permanent signings. I've given options of every type to the club. They're obviously not watching their Leeds lately, are they? They're obviously not up to date with their Leeds lately. Still watching Dream Teams, clearly. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about the general state of the transfer window. Hopefully something's happened by today, but even so, this general state of the squad is summed up in this video, and that's what I wanted to talk about. So thanks for watching Leeds Lately. I hope you enjoyed this different type of video. It's almost like a little bit of a therapy session of me just talking to you about what my general thoughts on our squad are and what we might need for our promotion push. But thanks for watching Leeds Lately. I'll see you in the next one.